today's lesson I am discussing about the solar photovoltaic cell. And solar photovoltaic cell is the part of optoelectronic devices. Optoelectronics is the technology that combines optic and electronics, and the devices based on this technology are known as optoelectronic device. This device can be categorized as light generating optoelectronic device and light sensitive optoelectronic device. So solar photovoltaic cell is basically the light sensitive optoelectronic device. Now the solar cell or photovoltaic cell. Now at first I am discussing about the solar photovoltaic technology. Solar photovoltaic, that is SPV, is a field of solar energy utilization by which solar radiation or sunlight is converted into electricity or electrical energy using a device called photovoltaic cell or solar cell. A solar cell is made up of semiconductor materials like silicon or other semiconductor material like gallium arsenide, etc. When sunlight in the form of photons falls on the semiconductor materials, electricity is generated. The amount of this generated electricity depends upon some factors like intensity of the solar insolation or radiation, size of the solar cell, types of the semiconductor materials, and the ambient temperature. From one solar cell, only a fraction of electricity is obtained, which is provided in a considerable amount of connecting these solar cells in series and parallel combinations called solar photovoltaic module. These modules are again fabricated in series parallel combination in form of photovoltaic array, which are generally used in solar photovoltaic plants to have huge amount of power to supply for the residential or industrial application. Generally, 36 solar cells are fabricated in series to make a solar photovoltaic modules. Now the photovoltaic technology. So photovoltaic or solar cell, as they are also called semiconductor devices because they convert sunlight into direct current or DC electricity. Groups of PV cells are electrically connected into module and array, which can be used to change and charge the battery and operates motors and any other types of electrical loads. By using the appropriate power conversion equipment, PV system can produce alternating current, and this device is called the inverter, which convert the DC voltage into AC voltage and can be operated in parallel with the circuit, which is finally connected with the grid system. Now, the history of photovoltaic cell. The first conventional photovoltaic cell were produced in late 1950 and throughout the 1960s were principally used to provide electrical power for earth. In the 1970s, improvement in manufacturing, performance and quality of photovoltaic module helped to reduce the cost and open up a number of opportunities for powering remote areas, including batteries, charging and navigational systems, signals, telecommunication equipments and other electrical and low power load. In 1980, photovoltaics became a popular power source for consumers of electronic devices used in calculator, watch, radio and other small types of battery charging applications, etc. So these are the basic history of photovoltaic cell. Now the basic operation of what is solar cell? A photovoltaic modular panel is interconnected assembly of solar cell that have been packed toughly. Solar cells are semiconductors like silicon and germanium When sunlight falls on the cell, a part of energy is absorbed by the semiconductor like silicon, which causes electrons to become free and flow in a certain direction, which constitute an electrical current flow across the external circuit or load. Now, the when the light of wavelength shorter than 1.13 micrometer falls on a specifically treated silicon, a voltage appears between front and back surfaces. If front and back surfaces are connected by a wire through a load resistance, then the load current flows during the period when the silicon surface is illuminated. The phenomenon is known as photovoltaic effect. This principle is used for direct electrical power generation for sunlight. From sunlight, the basic component that is treated silicon is known as the solar cell. Now, the photovoltaic cells are also made by using different materials. Accordingly, they are divided into the following types like silicon photocell, selenium photocell, gallium arsenide photocells, etc. A silicon photocell is exactly use an excellent stability and high conversion efficiency. So these are generally used. Now the application. A photovoltaic cell may be used in power portable electrical equipments like calculators and more common devices. But nowadays, the photovoltaic cell is used for different types of applications. By using this cell, we can power the domestic and industrial building and commercial building also. We can use submersible pump in irrigation purpose by the help of these solar cells. And nowadays, we can develop the solar power plant for a particular area. So these are the application area of the solar photovoltaic cells. Now the construction. Here the solar cell is basically a p-n junction diode. So this is the p region and this is the n region, and these are the junction over which a glass surface is used, and this is the sunlight, and this point is the output point from where we collect the output voltage, and this is metallic coating, and this is the symbol of solar photovoltaic cell. This is positive and this is negative. Now in detail, the construction is like that. The solar cell is a large photodiode and gives as much output power as possible. A silicon p-n junction is shown in this figure. The surface layer of p-type is extremely thin, so the light can easily penetrate this junction. The nickel plates rings is in the positive output terminals, and the plating at the bottom of the negative output terminals. For maximum current capacity, the surface area should be as large as possible, and sunlight must fall perpendicular on the surface. So these are the sunlight which is fall on the surface is perpendicularly, and the V layer is the thin layer, whereas the N layer is thick layer, and N layer is attached connected with the metallic coating, and these are the two output terminal points. Now the working principle of photovoltaic cell. When light rays collide with a valence electron, the electron becomes free. As a result, the free electrons and holes are generated on each side of the junction. Now the newly generated electrons are the minority and p materials, and the holes are the minority carriers in the n-type materials. Since the potential barrier is already existing in the unbiased p-n junction, the electrons from p side will be moved to the n side, and holes from the n side will move to the p side. Due to accumulation of carriers in the two sides, a voltage is generated across the devices. If the cell is short circuited, the output current is 50 milliampere, and if the cell is open circuited, the output voltage is approximately 0.55 volt for a particular standard solar cell. Now, the different types of solar cells are there, and solar cells are specified with their wattage and the voltage rating also.